Alright, hey, Hayes Mega here, and welcome to another WR250E video. So, this is it, guys. This is, so I've raced this bike in like 2 races now. The Hollister Hills Hairball Hair Scramble, and the Jeff Pereira Home Energy Supermoto Championship final race, okay? I raced it in a DTX class. And I mean, one of the glaring things about this bike is the range sucks, guys. All right, but anyway, I'm trying to fix that. This battery, all right, this battery is having a problem with one of the cells being low, so I have to see if I can fix that somehow. All right, I'm trying to balance it, but that's a separate video. In this video, what I want to address is the motor mounts. All right, I think the motor mounts are bending. All right, the rear motor mount. All right, so this has a Lithium King motor mount. All right, and so what's going on here, I think, is that it's binding. Okay, is what's going on. So I got it on a stand, and we're gonna run it. All right. Look at that front sprocket, man. So it's not lined up properly. All right. So now the good thing about the what is it, the QS138 is that there's a lot of play in the sprocket. All right. The sprocket moves in and out, left and right or whatever, quite a bit. All right. And that's to facilitate it aligning. All right. But what I think is happening is the motor is cockeyed. It's like going like this. It's being pulled that way. That's the way it looks like from this angle, right? And if you look at the front sprocket, you can see it's torquing it's torquing this way. All right? It's torquing that way. So the motor is crooked. It's like this, all right? So check it out again. You can see that? So the sprocket is not lined up properly, all right? So it's got the motor has to come out this way, all right? The back of the motor's got to come out this way, all right? The front is fine. The back needs to be moved. So what I think is happening is the back motor mount is bent, all right? It's bent from all that, that torque and all that stuff. But it looks like this is getting closer to the swing arm. So that's what the dude from Grit Shift told me when he looked at my bike. He said, like, yeah, eventually these the front sprocket, it starts moving closer to the swing arm, and I think that's what's happening right now. Okay, guys, I don't remember it being that close, and it's starting to chew into the chain slider here. Okay, so in fact, it looks like somebody had cut this part of the chain slider off to get more clearance. All right, but yeah, I definitely don't want that sprocket touching the swing arm. Okay, that's so what we got to do is we got to try to realign the motor better. All right, and we have to make it stronger. Okay, so what I think is it's bending. So Hades Meg is going to start taking the bike apart. All right, so we're going to take this chain off, and we're going to take a look at this motor mount in the back. So Hayes Mega already reinforced the front mount. All right, the front mount is pretty sturdy, but the back mount doesn't have any kind of lateral, all right, was it reinforcement, okay? It's just kind of just floating there, all right? And when I get, so Hayes Mega is going to take the motor out, all right? Everything's going to come out, all right? Battery, motor, and all that stuff. So this is it, all right, guys? Hayes Mega is going to re-engineer the bike is what's going to happen, all right? But yeah, so definitely it's torquing this way, okay? So what we need to do is we need to pull the back of the motor this way. Now we could do that. There's a couple things we can do is, well, first the thing we got to do is bend the motor mount back this way, all right? And also there's a bunch of spacers on it, all right? So what we could do is we could shim the motor. We could shim the motor so it's more that way, all right? So that'll push it out that way, okay? And then oh yeah. So this is another problem, guys. So when I back the bike up, it binds, okay? And I think that's because the sprocket is crooked, all right? It's not properly aligned. Check this out. Okay, so it's going backwards now. See that? See, it binds a lot, man. But when you go forward, it's fine. Okay, so it shouldn't do that, guys, all right? It shouldn't do that. Here it is again. All right, so I've got, this is forward. All right, and this is reverse. It gets worse the more power I give it, too. Okay, and it does it, even without the power, if I roll the bike back, I can feel it. The chain is binding, all right? So so this is not installed the motor's not installed properly. Or it's not. We have to realign the motor properly, and we have to reinforce the mount in the rear now, okay? Because what I think is happening is the rear motor mount is bending, all right? So that's the scoop, guys, all right? Okay, so Hayes Megan's going to start taking this bad boy apart, and then, yeah, I want to take everything apart, all right? So this is the point where we're going to re-engineer everything. I shot a video on the battery already, so check that out if you want to learn more about that. Depending on whether we can get the Sur-Ron battery to fit in this bike or not, we'll determine whether we're gonna buy more of these batteries. Okay, but I'm not having a good time with this battery right now, guys. It's the range sucks on it. 15 miles is awful. That's no good. All right, I want at least like 20 or 25 miles because I want to be able to get the bike back to the thing, right? Just in case. Sometimes you never know how long these races are. Okay, guys. Okay, so yeah, so I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this chain off. I'm gonna chuck this chain, guys. This chain stretched so much in that hair scramble race, and it's also at the max chain slack right now too. So I think it's stretched in the supermoto race also, because we had a jump on the supermoto race. Jumps are really bad for the chain, guys. Okay, what can I say, man? These electric bikes, they've got a shit ton of torque, man, and they love to break chains, all right? Okay, so yeah, that's a scoop. So Hayes Mega's gonna take apart everything, all right? I'll probably have make a quick video about it, but I'm not gonna go into very much detail about me taking it apart, okay? So, we're gonna do the chain, take the battery out, and then probably we'll take the seat out, and then we'll disconnect the motor, and yeah, we'll disconnect the motor, and then we'll start removing the motor, all right? But I think tonight I'll just start stripping the bike down. We'll take the tank off also, so we can see if we can fit that Sur-Ron battery, okay? So this is the re-engineering part, all right, guys? Hayes Mega is going to mold this piece of WR250 into the one he envisions. All right. Basically, what I want it to be is I want it to be like my Light Bee. All right. I want it to run like my Light Bee, but in a dirt bike, more dirt bikey chassis. Okay, that type of thing. All right. That's what I want. I want what I have with the Light Bee, but on a bigger bike. And hopefully we can accomplish that. All right. With the quick charge, with the quick change battery swap dealie. Okay. So that's a scoop. All right, so yeah, let's get started. Okay, I think first thing we're gonna do is take the battery out. Oh. The bike was on. Okay, also, we'll make sure there's no charge in the system. We're going to run that till it dies. Look at that. Okay, yeah, I'll leave that on for a few minutes. Okay, yeah, maybe what Hayes Mega might want to do is put some kind of pad on this, if I can. So there's a little shock absorption. Okay, it would be nice to maybe make a bigger tray for this too. All right. So what I had learned, all right, guys, from the Lithium King website, all right, or there's an Amazon thingy on Lithium King, and it literally says to cut the motor mount if you need more space for the battery. All right, so that is actually a common thing to do, is what I learned. Okay, guys, so that is normal for you to have to cut that. All right, if you ask me, you could have mounted the battery on that motor mount. All right, well, but yeah, I guess it sticks up a lot. I don't know what it looks like with the motor mount, guys, but it sticks up like an inch or two. Okay. Okay, so battery's out. Yeah, it doesn't bind. It doesn't bind when you do it on the stand by hand like this. Chain's off. That chain will not be going back on. That chain is the garbage chain, man. I have no idea what brand that is. Okay, we'll go remove the seat now. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, I kind of did this. All right, I had to do this. I zip tied it to the frame so the wind wouldn't open this thing up, man, because there's nothing attached to it. But we'll have to make a bracket for this later or something. So that's on my to-do list. But oh, I see. So there's like a tang here that it slides into. So interesting. Aha! Look at this, guys. Premium unleaded gasoline only, 91 minimum octane. Oh, I didn't know they had to put premium on this bad boy. I guess so. I guess so. There's kind of a drawback to having the WR250R. It runs on premium only, so could be, you know, if you're like in a bad place, you know, I mean, in the place where you can't get that kind of gasoline, then you're kind of SOL. You'll have to just make sure you put premium in it the next chance you get. Okay, I think you just pull it forward and it should come out. Alright guys, continuing with the theme of the previous owners, hand tight is just right. That shit is hand tight, guys. It shouldn't be that loose. Also, did you notice this one is missing one? Yeah, that one is already missing, so hand tight is just right. Alright, it's the same thing for the top bolt too, guys. Check it out. See? Hand tight is just right. So the tank should just come off now, right? There it is. Alright, so what I like to do so I don't lose stuff is I put the bolts back where I find them. Oh, this frame is so tiny. Yeah, I'm starting to, this is the first time I've looked at the frame without the tank. Well, not really. I have the old engine. My thumb is messed up. I can't even twist this. Okay, we'll have to find another one for that. Gee, I don't even know if, so there's some plastic thingy. Hey, there's not a whole lot of room in there, guys. So, anyway, so here, let's do a quick test fit. Since I just took the tank off. Let's see if the Sauron battery will fit. I think it might. Let's see. Oh, no, not quite. The subframe is in the way. The frame and the subframe, it's too small, dude. If you can grind this down a little bit, maybe. Because it actually fits in here. There's a tab here that you might have to cut off. Yeah, it won't fit. No, it'll fit. It'll fit. We just have to make it fit. It'll fit, guys. We just gotta make it fit between the subframe here. We can probably grind this. We can grind this as much as we can. We'll have a little more clearance. And then there's these tabs over here. I don't know what these tabs are for. They're not connected to anything. So you can probably cut those off. Doesn't look like they're stress members or anything. Okay, but yeah, dude, the frame is kind of small on this bike. I kind of don't like it, guys. This is not a good frame for this conversion, guys. Think about it. All right, but yeah, if we got rid of the tank, we could definitely put the Sauron battery in there. Yeah, we'd have to modify the subframe a bit, maybe, which you kind of don't want to do because that's what you sit on. So it has to bear the weight of the rider, you know. The bike is so small. It's too small, guys. This is not good for electric conversion. That's all I want to say. It's too small. Okay, anyway, I think that's where I'm going to stop tonight, guys. Alright, so I've stripped off all the plastics, the tank and all that stuff, and we took the chain off. And then, so the next thing we'll do is we'll remove the controller. Or we'll disconnect the motor from the controller, which is right here. So, okay, well, there's not a lot of room to work with here. You might have to take the subframe off to get to the... Anyway, yeah, we just got to disconnect it from this thing. That's the far driver controller. And will the EBMX controller even fit in there? Yeah, you know, this frame is teeny tiny. I don't like it, guys. But there's still some stuff we can hack out of this air box. Alright, so this is the air box where they put everything. It's a good place to put everything, I guess. We can take this out. There's like, I think it's a snorkel here. Take that snorkel out. We can cut this bracket off. There's a DC converter. We're probably going to ditch that when we install the EBMX controller. There's not a lot of room to work with. We can probably hack this too. We can hack this. That'll give us a little more space. But the controller, yeah, there's not a lot of room in there to put a controller, guys. So there is another place we can put a controller, guys, and we can put it where the radiator was, okay? But it depends on if it'll fit there. But this is where everything is right now. I kind of prefer we stick with this. Anyway, yes, so that is the re-engineering part, alright guys? Anyway, so the last thing to do before we take the motor out is we got to take these leads out of the phase wires off of the controller, and then we should be able to just take the motor out. Okay, so alrighty, so that's it for tonight. In the next clip, we'll do that. Alright, hey, here's Meg here. It's the next night, and we're working on the WR250E project again. You know, what bothers me is why are these bolts so long here, man? Are those even the right bolts for this subframe? I don't think they are, man. No, they're not. You know what? They might be. I'm not sure, man. These look like stuff that you would use for a house, man. I've got a feeling that's not supposed to be like that, guys. Yeah. So you can tell that they've done some trimming here to the front here. what I might do is trim some more of this out so it's nice and flush, and then I'll put like a pad or like some kind of padding, like a felt padding or something here, so like the battery, you know, has something nice and soft to crash into. Okay. All right. We may be able to make a thicker. I'd like to make a thicker battery tray out of like aluminum or something. This is a pretty good tray though. I'm impressed by the tray. It works. It works, and with Rob's little posts here, it's a nice solid place to put it, type of thing. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna take next is the tray. We're gonna remove, and then we'll start taking the motor out. We'll disconnect it from the controller. All right. So he's got some crazy stuff going on here. Just check it out. All right. So here's what's going on here. So he's got this controller mounted like this. All right, and then the wires are coming out this way, and they're just coming out everywhere. I don't even know how he got this controller in here, man. So one of the things I don't like about this bike is the subframe. The subframe sucks balls, guys. It's so skinny. You can't put anything in it, guys. the Sauron battery won't fit in here. This controller barely fits in here. What more when I get the EBMX controller, man? Look at how big the EBMX controller is. It's ginormous. How are you going to fit that in there? Okay. It does get wider back here, though. So, one thing we might be able to do, be try to modify the subframe, man. Try to make the subframe wider, man. Yeah. I mean, as long as this is here, oh yeah, that would kind of mess up where the tank and the seat goes, though. So yeah, that's what's going on, guys. So there's one phase wire. The yellow phase wire is coming out from the top here, and then I guess there's a green and some other mystery color in there, and then you've got the this battery cable. Okay, so I don't know how he got that all in there, man, and I don't even know how we're gonna do that when we get the EBMX controller in there. But yeah, we got to get all. Well, okay. So the goal is we're not going to take the controller off yet because I need the controller to test to see if we got the drive line properly aligned. So I think he's got this shimmed wrong, is what he's got. So we can shim it with washers. All right. So that's what he's done right here. There's a bunch of washers here. So yeah. And so what the problem is, it's cockeyed, man. It's like this. All right, it's too much like this. We need to probably take these washers out, move it to the other side, and then we need to add washers on this side. All right, guys. So on this side, the back of the motor is floating. I don't know. I don't think it's floating because when I looked at the Lithium King website, you're supposed to use the spacers, okay? So if you look here, oh yeah, this stupid skid, I gotta take this skid plate out too. This skid plate kind of makes things, it's hard to see stuff underneath there. Yeah, I think that's the next thing we'll do. We'll take the skid plate out. But this thing is like, it's cockeyed like this, like that, all right? So we need to move the front of the motor that way, and then we need to move the back of the motor this way. Okay, so to do that, you need to play with the spacers back here, all right? But we could also do the same thing that he did in the front here and use washers to shim it, okay? Yeah, I don't like that this doesn't go all the way too. Okay, but yeah, this is really strong now. So now, but everything is pretty strong. There's another bolt back there. There's a bolt here. It adds rigidity to this. There's another bolt with a spacer on it. So there's a bolt. Oh no, there's no bolt. It's the motor itself, right? The motor casing or the heatsink or whatever. It acts as like a spacer, right? So that thing is solid. That's not going to go anywhere. What's happening is this thing is moving. I don't think there's a spacer in there. I'm not 100%. So or it just needs to be reshimmed or whatever, right? If he did shim it, All right, he was supposed to shim it with spacers, guys, and I don't know what's going on with this. So yeah, we got to get this motor off so we can see what's going on there. Okay, so let's take the tray off, and then we got to take the phase wires off, these three, and then the motor should come off after we unbolt it. So okay, let's go for it.